Welcome, I'm Dr. Janine Bowring, naturopathic doctor, and today I'm sharing 9 natural home remedies for asthma. So you're going to love these tips. It's something that you can naturally do for yourself for the prevention of asthma, but also in the event of your asthma getting out of hand. Now, of course, you're working with your medical professional, and if this is an emergency, then definitely you're going to seek out medical help, absolutely, but these are just tips to help you, and from a preventative standpoint, really important as well. So tip number 1 is to assess your environment. So if you're reacting to things in your environment from an allergic standpoint, it could be mold, it could be toxins like cleaning supplies, and other allergens in your environment like dust mites, as well as fillers in supplements, which, believe it or not, yes, can be a trigger for asthma. It's something that you definitely want to evaluate, what is around you in your environment that you're reacting to that could be setting off your asthma. Tip number 2 is to address suppressed skin reactions, and this is something commonly that I've seen over the years in my patients, really common in children who have developed eczema. So they have some allergies, some inflammation, some disconnect in terms of their connection with the earth and their circadian rhythms. And what happens is that because of that skin reaction and that toxicity reaction on the skin, when they are given a topical corticosteroid, and that cream is given to clear up that skin, and great, the skin looks great, but what happens is that because in traditional Chinese medicine the lungs and the skin are connected, now that suppression of that actual detox reaction, as the way that I look at it on the skin, of those toxins coming out, has been suppressed by putting that cream on top. Now those toxins have been pushed deeper inside into the lungs as they're related. So and then this can then manifest in asthma. So this is really interesting and sort of sad at the same time, in my opinion, that this is happening, but it's super common, and that's why we definitely want to address the whole body as a whole and always help to enhance our detox mechanism. So I have other videos all about detoxification and how to do that in terms of skin conditions as well, and how to do things more naturally without suppressing those skin reactions, so you can definitely check those out. Tip number 3 is to avoid sulfites. So yes, in wine, also in dried fruit. So in dried, often in dried apricots and other dried fruits, you may find sulfites, and this can be a culprit to actually offset an asthma attack, as well as other food sensitivities like gluten are very commonly related to asthma, and dairy products as well. And dairy products especially, because they can be very mucus forming and can cause some of that respiratory distress, even aside from asthma. So making sure that these things are limited, especially if you are sensitive to them in the diet, for decreasing that overall inflammation. Tip number 4 is to use hot coffee. So this is actually a first aid, if your puffer is not available, if you can get your hands on, very carefully, some hot coffee. Coffee contains something called theophylline, and this has been known to help with those spasms in the bronchioles and can really, in the moment, help someone who's suffering from an asthma attack. So just food for thought, that's something, that to sort of keep in your repertoire of first aid things to think about in terms of asthma. But of course you're going to use your puffer, or whoever's suffering with an asthma attack, that they will be using their puffer in the moment. But this is, if the puffer is not available, this can be a possibility to help them. Tip number 5 is to use a straw. So strengthening the lungs and blowing through a small straw can really be helpful, even in, around the time of an asthma attack, and doing that can be very helpful. This is another first aid method that you could do when the puffer is not available. So just forcing that air through that straw is really helpful for that asthma attack. Tip number 6 is to use magnesium. So magnesium has been known to be something that helps with smooth muscle contractions, and it actually helps to relax smooth muscles and can help to relax those bronchioles, and helps over time to help with that asthma. So often there is a magnesium deficiency that's associated with having chronic asthma attacks. So making sure that that asthma is controlled by ensuring that you have enough magnesium, whether it's from dietary sources sources, which to be honest is very difficult to get enough magnesium, in my opinion, from the diet, you may need to go to a good quality supplement. So we'll share some links below as to a great supplement to help you with. Now we're coming up to tip number 9. We're not quite there yet, but do stay tuned because that is my favorite tip and something that you have not heard about treating asthma as it's related to mind-body medicine. So that's coming up. Okay, we are now at tip number 7, and you want to, from a dietary perspective, decrease the inflammatory fats in the diet. So these are the polyunsaturated fatty acids, the PUFAs. I've discussed them before. So things like corn oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, canola oil, margarine, and the trans fats. And these are often hidden in a lot of processed foods. You want to decrease these as much as possible because they are very inflammatory in the body. Increasing our healthy fats like coconut oil and of course DHA, whether that's from fish or seafood, is really helpful as well. You may need to go to a high quality DHA supplement to ensure that you're getting enough DHA as that natural anti-inflammatory. Tip number 8 is to, again, address the allergies and that allergic reaction. And there are natural antihistamines that can be taken. One of my favorites is quercetin. Another one is stinging nettle. So these herbal medicines have been known to really help with that histamine response and naturally helping with those spasms in the lungs as well, so helping with the asthma. And tip number 9, which is my favorite tip, of course, this is all about the mind-body connection and finding that resolve around any type of emotion that could be potentially related to our physical ailments is always really important and often overlooked in medicine. So in terms of the lungs, the lung tissue is related to the emotions of grief and sadness. And sometimes if you've gone through something and you've had a lot of sadness or grief and you weren't able to cry, you weren't able to get that emotion out and have resolve over that emotion, that can be actually stuck in the lung tissue and can cause coughs. It can cause asthma, especially chronic asthma. So this is something you definitely want to consider and think about. And whenever you can meditate and do deep breathing, which is really helpful for strengthening the lungs as well, whenever you can find that resolve in that mind-body connection as related to the lung tissue and to the asthma, this will really go a long way to help you on your healing journey. So there you have it. Those were my top 9 natural home remedies and tips for asthma. I really hope that this video has helped you. I would love to hear from you in the comment section below. So please drop me a line in there. I'd love to hear from you. And I want to hear, how these tips are actually working and helping you. Please be sure to share this video as well with someone that you know will benefit from this information, and give me a big thumbs up. I appreciate all of your positive feedback that you share with me. And if you're new here, welcome into my channel. Make sure that you subscribe. Also click that bell to turn on all of those notifications so you always get my newest and latest uploads, which happens every single day of the week. And remember to always take good care of your health and do it naturally. Thanks for watching today.